Hello, it's Reverend Rose Hope here, and it's another Wisdom Walk. And today we are going to be discussing the 4-step protocol to moving forward in your life. So how do we expedite that process? How do we ensure that we are on the right path? Okay, so 4-step protocol, super easy, and something that you guys can start using every day as you move through your days. This 4-step protocol really helps us to move the dial in our lives, to help us with our evolution, to help us with expansion. And it's been coming up for me, I don't know about you guys, but there's been some really wonky energy shifts lately. Anything from technology to emotional disruption, and maybe some of you can relate. I went from being on this really incredible high. I did this event called 7 Days of Creation. By the way, if you're curious about that 7-day free webinar series, please do reach out to me. I'm going to do it again in January, but everything's recorded and I'm happy to share it with you. It was very powerful for me and for a lot of the people that attended. And in the 7 days of creation, I was flying high. I mean, I was in my element. I was loving things. I was in the zone and I was riding that wave. And then after the event ended, I felt the crash. And I thought, I just finished talking about creating heaven on earth. And here I am now crashing and feeling a bit of despair, feeling a bit of depression, feeling a bit of like, what is this all for? And so, of course, as that's coming up, I'm sitting with it and I'm holding space for it. And I was doing all my typical techniques of alchemizing energy, but something was missing for me. And so I went back to my protocol and I thought, what a perfect opportunity to share this with all of you. So what is this protocol? 4 steps. First one, awareness, which is oftentimes the first step in most professional personal development out there. Awareness, right? We have to be able to see it in order for us to do anything about it, right? And so awareness is that first step of being able to come into a place where you can actually be the observer in your life. I call this witnessing the life that we're living, and allowing myself to become the observer more often in my experience helps me to kind of get the bird's eye view, because otherwise we get stuck in the slog, don't we? And it's hard to get out of our own space unless we're allowing ourselves to say, hey, I'm going to just kind of come up out of this and I'm going to be the observer. I'm going to witness myself having this experience, and maybe I can get another perspective, okay? So that's the awareness part of it. The second step is acceptance. And I want to talk about acceptance here because, it's not saying that we're okay with what has happened, okay? Acceptance doesn't mean that we agree with whatever we experienced. Acceptance doesn't mean that whatever someone did is okay necessarily. But what acceptance means is that we accept that that's what happened. We accept that that's the way that it went down. We accept that I showed up in that way, that they showed up in that way. I accept it because it happened. And so there's nothing that we can do to change what has already happened, right? And so this acceptance piece is actually so critical. Acceptance is the opposite of resistance. When we are in resistance to what happened, then it creates some suffering for us, doesn't it? And so this came up actually this week as well having a lot of issues technology-wise. Emails are not getting out to all of you beautiful people. We're getting blocked and all of these things. And at first I felt this this frustration, like this can't be happening. Why is this happening? That energy. And I had to come to acceptance that this was happening. And even though I don't know why it's happening quite yet, perhaps it's for patience, perhaps it's because we're going to come up with new strategies that will be better in the long run. I don't know. But the point is that I had to come to acceptance because it was happening. And it was out of my control. So I had to surrender. Surrender is another great word to use along with acceptance. And the other thing too, of course, is to love what is, no matter how it shows up. No matter how it shows up. To love what is. Beautiful book by Byron Katie called Loving What Is that helps us to move into acceptance. So acceptance is a really key piece in this second part, okay? Third step, okay, so we have awareness, we have acceptance. The third one is now moving into appreciation. And this is a really tricky one, especially when things have been going down not the way that we want them to. This piece of appreciation is actually now going into gratitude. Oh, thank goodness I had those tech issues so that I could improve on my systems, right? Or whatever that might be. It's now coming into the appreciation piece, the gratitude piece to say, thank you that this happened. Even if I don't quite know why yet, even if I don't have all the answers yet, thank you for allowing me to have this experience in whatever growth that I am undergoing. And that appreciation piece is a powerful one. It's a powerful one. The fourth one is action. It is appropriate action. And so what does that mean? Well, okay, we had an awareness that an experience went down. We then moved to acceptance that, okay, it happened the way that it happened. I can't change how it happened. I can't go back in time, but I can appreciate then what that experience was and what it might have brought to the surface for me, or what learnings or lessons are there for me. And then the appropriate action really brings us into, okay, now what do I get to do about it? What do I get to apply now? What do I get to adjust now moving forward? And so it gives us this wonderful opportunity to look at how we can improve. So for example, with this technology issue that we've been having, okay, what's the appropriate action? Well, the appropriate action is for me to look at our systems and see where there are some gaps and see what we can do to overcome those gaps. So again, it's giving me this wonderful opportunity for improvement. And so now I get a chance to take an appropriate action step to make the experience worth going through. And that's what it comes back to all the time, you guys. Are you leveraging the experience of life? Are you squeezing it for all that it is worth? And so this is that reminder to you that everything holds value, even the shitty shit, even the stuff that we don't really want to go through, it holds value for us. And if we can squeeze it and we can leverage it and we can get value out of it to make our lives better, then we're always winning. Then we're always ahead of the game. And so what a wonderful opportunity for us as human beings, as we grow and evolve and we nurture ourselves and hold space for ourselves to become beings that are fully rooted, having this beautiful, beautiful human experience and allowing that spiritual part of ourselves to come alive within us. So that's it. That's the protocol, you guys. Awareness, acceptance, appreciation, and appropriate action. And if you can apply those simple pieces and understand that this can be a daily practice. Remember, knowledge is nothing unless we can apply it. And so the invitation is to use this tool as you move through your days to help you to come into that space of deeper understanding, deeper knowing, and to have more fulfillment in your beautiful lives. So I hope that this reaches you, and I hope that you can use this tool to apply to your life quickly and easily. Thank you so much for being with me on another wisdom walk. It's always such a joy to be with you. We'll see you next time. Bye.